Hey, hobby friends. Your old pal Bo here, the only man on YouTube with a face for radio and a voice for print. Coming at you again. Realize it's been a while since I had a video. Uh, Life gets in the way, and I thank anyone that stuck with me the last week or two since I last made a video. Just work and life and a little bit of gaming. Still trying to work on this little inquisitorial army I'm working on. I needed to get a new airbrush needle. Uh, so I've got a 6/10 of a millimeter needle, which is like a freaking fire hose, but great for priming and zenithal highlighting. I want to give a non-sponsored shout out to the guys at Spray Gunner for having that in stock and ready to go. I've been getting my airbrush supplies from them for the last 3 years, and they always have a great selection and great stock and good prices and free shipping over like $85. But anyway, non-sponsored endorsement for my little Harder and Steenbeck Ultra, a little cheapy airbrush. But just trying to get my little army put together. Again, trying to do some zenithal and highlighting, and then some dry brushing and get them prepped, and do some painting. Let's see. I don't know really what I'm going to call this video, but I've run into a, I don't want to call it a problem. Let's call it a phenomenon, and the phenomenon is how do you keep all of your players involved in your game? So say you're playing online, voice chat, uh, Zoom, Discord, I don't know, a virtual tabletop, uh, anything like that, maybe even in person. And if you're in a situation, this is actually going to be a topic on a future Gatekeepers episode, I think, so I kind of want to jump the gun. But look forward soon on Gatekeepers. Um, Say you have 5 players. So that's a good number for an RPG. And you're in a situation that's not turn based. Combat's turn based, and whether it's initiative order or a fixed order, some video games. Some RPGs will have it based on a stat like speed or whatever, and you know who goes first, you know who goes second, you know when the villains or monsters or bad guys go, but and so that keeps the game going, right? It's your turn, your turn, your turn, your turn. How do you keep players involved when you're in a situation when it's not turn based, right? Say there's an investigation, say they're walking through town, say it's a hex crawl, I don't know. And some people are more self starters. Some people are going to act and not be acted upon. Some people wait for things to happen to them. And this is kind of what this video is about. It reminds me of a teacher that I had in high school. He was an old Korean War vet, and he used to say there are 3 kinds of people in this world: the kind of folks that make things happen, the kind of folks that wait for things to happen, and the kind of folks that wonder what the hell happened. So let's talk about the latter 2 categories. They can be good gamers, and they're certainly welcome at my table. Um, but now I wonder, how do I keep them involved in the game? It makes me feel like a bad GM if I get done with the session and I think, seems like 1 or 2 guys did all the acting and some other guys just kind of waited around. No, there are things that I could do, like you could develop a subplot that involves those characters specifically. You can think about what the needs of the player are, what kind of game the player has, what are the expectations. I think this is a part of what some people call the gaming group social contract, right? As the GM, um, my first goal is to have fun and make sure everybody else has fun. Okay? I know that some people don't like that, but some people are wrong, aren't they? All right. There's a G. It's a role playing game, and you know it's a game if everyone has fun. It's a pastime. If you're not having fun, you may as well go out and find yourself a nice thick Russian novel to read. You'll have more fun doing that. Um, but snark aside, I think it's related to making sure that everyone has fun. If you're the kind of person that has fun watching the game and waiting for things to happen, that's fine. But I think as part of that social contract, you need to let the DM, GM, keeper know at the beginning of the game. Um, Otherwise, I'm going to try to look for ways to keep everyone involved. Do I say, "What are you doing now? What are you doing now? What are you doing now?" Does that break immersion? I don't know. Does that make the game less fun? I don't know. I think that if you don't want that kind of involvement, if you don't want the GM to say, "What are you doing now?" every 4 or 5 minutes, um, be a little more proactive in the gaming. No, I don't think that's a dig or an insult. I'm just trying to make observations here. Uh, what what degree of GM player involvement in that respect do you find acceptable? Is it annoying when the GM says, "What are you doing now?" while all the other players doing something else? And again, I'm trying to run an open, sandboxy type game. So if you're going through a town and you're trying to investigate the ancient eldritch MacGuffin, and your more investigative characters, your cleric and your wizard, your priest or your warlock are out investigating temples and libraries. Um, what are your thief and fighter doing? Is the thief trying to look through the seedy underbelly of town and press his underworld contacts to find out what's going on? But that leaves the fighter or the barbarian. Or, I don't know. It's your optimized party composition. Uh, what makes it work? What if it's a different kind of game? I mean, I'm trying to ask as generic of questions as possible. And I think that if I had the answers, I wouldn't ask the questions. So, hobby friends, what do you do to keep all of your players involved in situations that don't have a turn based organized structure? And what responsibility is it for the GM to make sure that happens? Again, I try to run a game where players are free to act um, in their own accord and in their own way, and I hope that they involve themselves in character development, involve themselves in interaction with other players, involve themselves in interaction with me as facilitator, as grand poobah of the game. These are things that I really want to happen. Um, but sometimes it's okay to not know, and that's why I ask. So, reaching out to my hobby friends, reaching out to my few loyal subscribers. Um, give your friend Bo some advice. All right. Um, I'll be working all week, and so I will have a very limited footprint online until probably after next Wednesday. So, as you prepare for the Independence Day week for my U.S. based viewers, stay safe, be well, have fun with the clickety clack math rocks. Remember that the G in RPG stands for game. So have fun, whether you're on the tabletop or on the role-playing game side of things, whether you're painting and building, or whether you are creating worlds and universes in your own head. I bid you peace.